Are we live? I think we are. Think we are live. Are we live? Yes. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to another live of Class in Sense. I'm your boy, Rob. And wherever you are, I hope that you're having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So today's live is not going to be as long. I'm actually going to do lives like this as well, where rather than talk about a complicated subject or more nuanced subject like notes or the differences between designer and niche or designer and clone houses and things of that nature. I'm actually going to do lives like this where I'm going to basically answer one question or get straight to one topic that is very easy and very straightforward. And that topic today is my pick for the cologne I believe you should be wearing this summer and into the fall. Okay. Again, I'm going to say that again. The cologne that I think that you should be wearing this summer. Now, the reason why before I go into it, the reason why I'm picking this cologne is because one, I have worn it a number of times. Two, the compliments that I have received when wearing this cologne have been amazing. The way I feel when wearing this cologne, and also the longevity of this cologne and the versatility. Okay. And you would be surprised to know, or maybe not, the more that you watch some of my videos, that this cologne that I'm actually going to debut is a clone of a designer cologne that not discontinued a little bit. You can still find it, but the price has jumped astronomically. And this clone is, in my opinion, much better. And without further ado, the cologne in question is by the House of Armaf, Tres Nuit Poron Lyric. Tres Nuit Poron Lyric. Okay. First and foremost, as you will soon learn, that Armaf is one of my favorite houses because one of their fragrances literally got me ingratiated in the fragrance community. But they make really quality colognes. So much so that their colognes that they create end up rivaling, being just as good, if not better, than the originals. Okay, which is a testament to the house where they're not just copying, but they're improving on the original. And this Tres Nuit Lyric is a testament to that. Now, what cologne is it copying? I'm going to answer that at the end. But first, let's get into the cologne and the notes. Okay. So the notes on this cologne are the top notes of bergamot, mandarin, orange, and aquatic accords. Okay. Heart notes of rosemary, lavender, and cypress, and base notes of musk, patchouli, and amber. So, if you've watched a few of my videos, you know that when I talked about notes and certain colognes have a certain note breakdown, and this cologne with this note breakdown would be put in the category of a blue fragrance. Okay. And again, for those who didn't watch any of my previous videos, that blue notes or blue colognes, okay, typically have the same kind of notes, aquatic notes, but also crisp citrusy notes of bergamot, okay, orange, lemon, okay. Lavender is usually in blue colognes as well, etc. And of course, I actually did a previous video of one cologne that, or basically the cologne that started the blue quote unquote craze, and that was Bleu de Chanel. But again, back to this cologne, Tres Nuit. Yes, thank you. I see you in the chat. Thank you for that correction. It is actually pronounced Tres Nuit. I lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry. So back to the cologne. This cologne basically starts off and comes off very citrusy, fruity in the air. Okay. So that means that once you first spray it on, 2 on the neck, okay, 1 to the back of the neck, and maybe 1 more on the inner parts of your arm, or maybe 2 on the wrist, you are going to have a projection of about, I would say about 2 hours, and a projection a little bit more than an arm's length. Okay. And of course, the opening, the way it smells when you first smell it is a very citrus blue. You definitely get the bergamot. You definitely smell the bergamot, a little bit of the orange mandarin that, take care, man. That you get it when you first go on that initial sniff, which most blue fragrances, they basically come off as citrusy, very airy in the air, fruity. Okay. Now, what makes this cologne, and to me, what makes this cologne really stand out is not so much the citrus and the middle notes and the heart notes, as they say, but actually the base notes, and how when this cologne dries down, it is just as good, if not better. And to me, I think the note that really pushes this blue fragrance into that top tier is the amber. Because what the amber does is, usually with blue colognes, once they dry down from a citrus to more of a clean musk feel. Okay, so you smell fresh, you smell clean, but not really intriguing. Just more of, if anybody gets close to you after about 2.5, 3 hours, you're gonna smell like, okay, you spray, you smell nice, but you smell more clean. It's not really interesting. What makes this cologne different is that amber note. Once it dries down, the amber and the patchouli really do a good job of keeping the projection. So rather than some blue fragrances where they die very quickly, or they smell amazing in the beginning, but then when they dry down, they're not as interesting. Okay. The top level blue fragrances keep that interesting level throughout. So if they start in the beginning of citrus and uplifting in the beginning, in the heart, maybe not as citrus, but you're still smelling good with that fresh shower gel, lavender, where you smell very fresh, but again, you're still pushing. So you smell like lavender, you smell very clean, but it's not just when you get close, it's still at an arm's length. And then in the middle to the base notes, that amber is always in the background, where usually when a blue cologne comes down, it gets less interesting and more clean. And what I mean by clean is that you basically smell like you just came out the shower. You smell fresh, right? So you smell fresh, but not so much interesting. Think of it as you just, took a shower with regular Dove soap and you get out of the shower, okay? Not really a scent to the Dove soap, but you come out of the shower, that feeling, but then also the smell that you give off is just that clean feeling, right? That clean feeling, that cleanness in the air from the soap, okay? Some blue fragrances do that, the lower end ones, but the more interesting ones like this, like Bleu de Chanel, like others, have those other interesting notes in the base and in the heart that turn that clean scent, just came out the shower gel scent, to something more. And the note that's really doing the lifting, in my opinion, is the amber. It creates that interesting appeal where it's like, You smell clean, but you smell better than that. You smell like you just got out the shower, but you smell better than that. You smell intriguing. And then when it dries down and it becomes less than an arm's length scent, it still has that intriguing feel about it. Okay. Now, why is this my pick for the summer? Well, what I was just trying to explain to you is that what this cologne does that makes it unique and makes it great is that it stays interesting throughout. I'm gonna say that again. It stays interesting. It stays, I don't want to say sexy, but people who walk past you are like, oh, you smell good throughout the life of the fragrance. And that to me is the quintessential point of a fragrance that's good versus a fragrance that's great. A great fragrance will captivate you in the beginning, keep you interested in the middle, and then even when it dries down and you have to be in someone's private space, it's still interesting. Still smell good. It's still something where it's like, oh, what is that? 6 hours later, seventh hours later. Those are the great colognes. And this I would put in that category. Now, I stated at the beginning that this cologne actually mimics a very popular cologne that was actually the craze about 2 years ago. Okay. And that cologne is by Giorgio Armani. And the cologne in question was Giorgio Armani's Profondo. I'll never forget it because when I first heard about that name and being a part of the community, when certain colognes come out that the community just latches onto and they love, you start seeing the fragrance reviews about that cologne everywhere. And this specific cologne was that one. Again, Giorgio Armani Profondo. It was in a blue bottle and, well, is in a blue bottle. And it immediately took the fragrance community by storm. And just like this was a blue fragrance that stayed interesting throughout, where it was light but citrus, but even in the dry down, still stayed interesting. Still, you would get compliments. Could work in almost any situation, whether on a hot day, a fall day, you're in the office, you're going out on a date, you are going on a bike ride, right? Blue fragrances, as you can see when I talk about blue fragrances and fragrances like this, you're going to hear the usual words. It's clean, citrusy, fruity, right? And the main one about blue fragrances is extremely versatile and people pleasing. So if nothing else, if you haven't listened to anything else when it comes to this live in this chat, when you think of blue fragrances, think of versatile and people pleasing. Okay. The granddaddy that started it all, Bleu de Chanel, is the quintessential blue fragrance that was very versatile, is very versatile, and everyone loves it. It's very people pleasing. And this is that. Now, because it is so versatile, it is, to me, that it's just the easy pick for the spring, summer, and even fall because of the base notes of the amber and the patchouli. It gives this blue fragrance a little bit more power. So what does that mean? That means that it gives it more staying power. So even when colognes, usually in the colder winter, colognes that don't have the notes that can cut through the cold tend to die quicker. This cologne, because of those specific notes of the patchouli and the amber, has more of that staying power. Can't speak today. Power. So even on a fall night, that's a little windy, it's a little cooler, but it's not winter yet, this cologne does well too. Now, I wouldn't recommend it for fall, but this would be a very solid fall option. And versatile, in reality, is a good, I I wouldn't say very good, but a good all year round scent. Okay. So just to wrap up, I think that Tres Nuit Lyric is the pick. If you do not or can't think of a cologne to get for the summer, I say that you should go with this. Oh, but before I forget, I should lead with really the most important part about this fragrance, why I love it so much. And I should have actually led with this. I said it's versatile. And I said that it's a people pleaser. So you are going to get compliments because people, 9 out of 10, are going to love the way you smell. But probably the most important part, even more than that, is the fact that this cologne right now only costs $30. When I got this bottle, I spent about $25. Yep. $25 for a cologne that you're going to get compliments. You can wear in almost any situation, whether it's hot, warm, or a little cool outside. You can wear on a date, to the office, going to a barbecue, and you don't have to spend more than, as of right now on Amazon, $30. Which is why I say I probably should have led with that. But and as you'll see, I tend to leave the how much a cologne costs to the end, because even though it is important, I don't want to lead with that. But let me know in the comments. Tell me if I should. Okay. So one of the biggest reasons why, again, I love this cologne, versatile, people pleaser. And you can get all of this for less than $35. Now, is it better than the original? I would say yes and no. Profundo may last an hour more, but that's it. And it has the name of Giorgio Armani. But as far as compliments, how good it smells, refinement, if it smells fake or synthetic, I can tell you that you're going to get the compliments. You are going to smell amazing. It does not smell synthetic or cheap. And when it comes to longevity, the original might outlast it maybe an hour more. But you're going to pay $80 more for the same cologne to last only about an hour more, if that. Which is why, again, this is my pick. But tell me what you think. Comment, like, and subscribe. Share this with your friends. And I will be coming up with, colognes for the week, colognes for the summer, my picks for colognes best for a date, office, barbecue, going to a brunch, going to a gala, for a suit, etc. Okay. Oh, and before I leave you, I have some very, exciting news, at least for me, as we're growing this community, that I am going to be creating a link tree in a newsletter. So as I said, when it comes to my lives and when it comes to this community, I want to make it as interactive as possible. So when you join this community and when you join the newsletter and the LinkedIn, you will get all of this information from me. But not only that, you will be able to reach out to me personally, and I'll be able to give you my one-on-one feedback when it comes to a cologne, whether it's for a date, whether it's for your husband, your boyfriend, whether it's for an occasion, you want to dress up and you want to look nice. You can reach out to me when you join our community through our LinkedIn, and we can have that interaction. Because again, what separates my channel from the others is, to me, that interaction with my subscribers. So again, I'm going to be creating that LinkedIn soon. I'm sorry, that link tree soon where you can get in contact with me. And let's just say you're looking for a cologne and you don't know where to start and you want some options. You don't have to wait for the next live. You can just reach out to me. Okay. So with that being said, thank you again for joining me on this live. Like and subscribe. And just remember that when it comes to class and sense, the final touch is everything. Take care.